Good afternoon, everyone. All United fans across wherever you may be. Uh, Good afternoon to everyone in India, and good evening, I guess, to everyone in Australia. Uh, Welcome to this stream. So we do have Dean from Brisbane Manchester United Supporters Club and Adam from the New South Wales Manchester United Supporters Club, and we have Shoyom as well from our very own Red Army Kolkata. So welcome, gentlemen. I hope everybody is doing well during this phase of our lives. It's something that has come. I think it's going to be once in a lifetime or once in a generation. So let's start with Dean. How are you coping up, buddy?
Hey guys, thanks for giving your time up to have a chat with us. Things are pretty good here at the moment. Only a few cases here at the moment, so life's pretty normal for us here. Just obviously we can't travel, and even though me and Adam live only an hour flight away, he's not allowed here and I'm not allowed there. So yeah, it's a bit strange.
Yeah, my kids are still playing football and everything like that. Minimal crowds and stuff like that. But life's pretty okay here in New South Wales at the moment. So there are rules and regulations going on that we have to adhere to. But we're doing okay. There are worse off places than us, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's turning out to be the new normal, I guess.
Yeah, and we hope that it's only once in a generation. We don't want it to come again and again.
Yeah.
Talking from a football perspective, seeing such matches like the matches we have been seeing for the past 2 months, seeing them without fans is heartbreaking. I only can think of what the crowd's response could be if you think of the Marshall's hat-trick against Sheffield or the 5 goals that we scored against Bournemouth. The crowd would have been crazy that day. Those nice fans would have been singing all night long. So, we miss football. We miss the normal football. This is not normal football. This is something that we have been forced to watch.
Football without fans is nothing, mate.
Football without fans is nothing, then.
Imagine lifting a trophy in an empty stadium.
Yeah.
Right, a few of them do understand lifting a trophy in an empty stadium after 30 years. So, it's up for debate. Okay.
Anyway, not talking about the other Red. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's not waste time talking about people we don't want to consider. So,
you mean the people we hate?
Hate is a strong word, Dean.
We don't like.
Yeah. So,
when it comes to them.
I'm sorry, I didn't get you.
I said it's a nice word when it comes to them.
Of course,
I'm sure the feeling is mutual.
I think it is, to be very honest, talking from personal experience. Coming to the season that has just ended for us, for Manchester United, let's start with you, Dean. What do you think? What went wrong? What went right? How has the season been for you?
I think a lot more things went right than wrong. Considering when we were sitting at Christmas time, Ollie went out and brought an attacking player that sort of linked up our team quite well, and we looked at a whole different team after Christmas. So, if you said to me at Christmas time wouldn't make the semi-finals and stuff like that, I think I would have taken that.
And what do you think about the semi-finals? Like the way we played in the semi-finals?
Sevilla are a good side. They've won Europa so many times now, and we look very tired. Ollie only trusts 11 players. We don't really have a bench. We've got a lot of young players. And Bruno came on the scene flying, and he looked really tired. So, defensively, I think we still have a few problems there. But it's a lot to look forward to in the coming seasons. We just need a few extra players to add to the squad, so Ollie can change the squad up a bit.
we'll come to the discussions regarding the players that need to be added. So, Adam, what are your feelings regarding the season that has gone by?
Yeah, look, at the beginning of the season, there was a lot of jokes going around that we might get relegated. They arrived in Perth 12 months before the season started. It was a long year, wasn't it? Like 352 days went by and we're still playing the season. Focus through the season. I think Ollie stuck to his plan, and a lot of people wanted him out a little bit there, and I've always been Ollie in, and I think most supporters should be Ollie in. They always come around and say back the manager. I wasn't one to really back Mourinho, but look, at the beginning of the season, like Dean said, we're in 14th, I think, at one stage. And to finish third is an outstanding result. It's a lot of pressure for the next season, which is in I think a month's time. So to finish, Ollie's now had 12 months under his belt. We can now judge him, and it all comes down to this next buying, isn't it? So we do need players, and we've got 11 he trusts, and it's tough to watch when you only got 11, and then you look to your bench, and you really want things to happen off the bench, don't you? But it's just not there. So anyway, we'll see what happens in a few weeks' time. So yeah, look, I think it was a great. You would have taken, if someone told you at the beginning of the year we'll take third spot and make 3 semi-finals we made, you take it every day of the week. Current squad. So yeah, you got to be positive. We've got to move to the next season. The season's over now, so Bruno comes along. He's basically saved our asses. We had Greenwood, we had Williams. A couple of good young players come in. It's good. It's exciting when the young players. I'm old school. I like to see the youth come through. I like to see the English-born player, and But in saying that, I loved Bruno, so it was really good.
Of course, the way Bruno has influenced the team, I think we might need a little bit of reinforcing in the midfield region. Attacking, I'm not sure that we need. I think Greenwood can last a whole season, and a player who can have the same impact that Bruno has had on the attacking part, a player who can have the same impact in defense. If we get one of those, then I think we can think forward. Coming to Shoyom, what are your feelings? How has the season been? Shoyom, are you there?
So I will just point out 3 matches which could sum up of feeling.
Shoyom, your voice is breaking.
Just give me a moment.
Yeah, sure. While Shoyom is fixing his technical issues, so
I'm sorry, my internet broke. Am I audible now?
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my internet broke. So I'll just point out 3 matches. 3 to 4 matches which could sum up our feeling, sum up the entire season. First would be Newcastle versus United, the one we lost 1-0, which played on October. Longstaff scored a late second half goal, and we were pathetic. Pathetic would be it would be a very small word that I can use for. There was no penetration. We were playing some deadwoods out of the bench. There was no intent to score, and there was no intent to win. Coming from that to, the other match that I could point is the Burnley match. That match. After when before Bruno arrived, that that match we peaked actually. There was that match was horrible. Again, a horrible match. And after that, after Bruno's arrival, things turned. Things turned its way around, and we played some of the games, and we could see that intent from United, which we have been seeing for the last, say, before the change of managers happened. So that intent actually summed up. Like, there was a final push which brought us to the situation that we are right now. There was an intent that, yeah, we are coming on the pitch, we might go 1-0, we might go behind 1-0 or 2-0, but we will give our best to try and win the match. I mean, if you look at 2 of the 3 semi-finals that we lost, we were the better team. So even though we could not finish, I mean, Sevilla's match, we could not finish like his 4 to 5 chances, and every moment I thought that we could score. We pinned them in the box for 20 minutes. So I guess, and just like Dean and Will said that if anyone would have said that, okay, you are going to finish third at the end of the season with 3 semi-final appearances, 2 of them dominating the match and losing out on a defensive error, I would have taken it up. I did not even expect a top 4 finish this season. So yeah, it's a win-win season for me. I won't be saying that I'm heavily satisfied with what I have seen, but yeah, things can improve. Things are on the right track right now. At least we can say that.
Right. So, taking a point from what Shoyam just said, I'll start with Adam this time. So, does one player have such a big impact on a team? Has Bruno Fernandes really rejuvenated the team, or is it something that the team was working towards, and it just happened to coincide with a player like Bruno coming into the team where everything just clicked?
Yeah, look, I mean, it was the same with Eric Cantona when he came in. You know, you always have these players that come in and influence younger players and other players around them. You know, people play off each other. But you have to remember too, at the beginning of the year, we had Martial out, we had Rashford out, you know, Pogba out. You know, so by the time Bruno came along, these players were starting to come back. So, you know, Rashford was on a roll. He couldn't stop scoring, you know, and then we're missing Martial there, and, you know, I think they finish on 22 or 26 goals each or something
23,
like that?
23, 24 each.
23, yeah. So, you know, people sometimes can be a bit harsh on, you know, players. These players come back from injury. Rashford had a back injury, which isn't the easiest injury to come back from. You know, Martial, you know, he's a confidence player, so, you know, he would have been down on himself not playing as well. Pogba, we saw Pogba play in Perth, so, you know, he's a must for this side. And by the time all those 4 players came in, Greenwood slid in there really nice. He was scoring goals in games, and you know, Bruno was a massive influence. You know, he gives Lindelof a bit of a mouthful the other day, which you need players like that. You know, you want players that can stand up against other players. You want players that can push each player. Just going back on something you were saying before, you know, back in the, you know, 90s, even 2000s, early 2000s, we had 2 players for each position. You know, so we need that. We need that kind of pressure on each player. Everyone should be fighting for a position. You know, the good teams now bring players off the bench that can just slot right in. And, you know, I know we'll get into the transfer market probably a bit later into this, but it's not looking promising at all. It's just looking like another season where we're all wondering whether we're going to buy at the 11th hour or not. So, anyway, we'll try and stay positive through this podcast.
Of course. So, Dean, what do you feel? How big an influence has Bruno Fernandes been this season? So we are actually talking about a player who came in January. So that's half the season already gone.
Massive. Especially when we're trying to get... Sorry? Oh, sorry, I didn't hear him say doing. Sorry, I didn't hear him say doing.
You know, you
Sorry.
fast people actually
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Dean, go ahead.
Sorry, buddy.
To be honest, you know, like, I think sort of that number 10 role we've been lacking for, you know, a very long time now, and you know, just the balls he plays into Martial, Rashford, you know, running in behind, and you know, they've lacked that service. You know, Rashford's been up and down over the last few years. Martial also. But you got to remember also, Mourinho benched him for a long time. You know, he gave Zlatan his number 9 shirt. You know, that means a lot to some people, and confidence is a big thing. So I think that really knocked him about. But I think having a natural finisher as your manager, as in Ollie, you know, really works on it, and you know, you can see that by this season. So, you know, I think Bruno was good for them. I think Bruno was good for Pogba because it wasn't all about Pogba. You know, we can play magnificent. It's Pogba if we play our worst. It's Pogba's fault. You know, like. So I just think a lot of the time it just takes pressure off other players. You know, like I think when we lost Luke Shaw, I think what it was 2-3 games before that season end, like that really affected us because our left side was so prominent. And then Williams, you know, the right-footed player, he just doesn't look right playing the fullback. I know we've had grades like James Weir play like that, but I just think in this modern game it doesn't work. So yeah, there's a lot of areas that we need. Like Adam said, you know, players fighting for a position. As we're at the moment, I think the 11 know who the 11 are. So yeah, you know, I think Bruno had a good impact and definitely shows his leadership material. You know, he was leader at his last club, so, and he doesn't miss penalties, so if we keep getting penalties, we'll be right.
Right, so I completely agree with you when you said that we did miss Luke Shaw a lot in the last few games because the overlaps that he went, the overlapping runs that he did just after the lockdown when it opened, so those were crucial for people like Martial and for people like Rashford to have somebody going down the wing for them for an outlet. I completely agree. So, okay, coming to something, I mean, I don't want to play the devil's advocate, but just a thought that I want to discuss with you guys. We'll start with Dean this time. So,
Adam, that's me.
I'll leave the banter to you guys.
I've got the headphones in now. Better.
So I am guessing that we all of us present here are so-called Ole in. So we want him to succeed. We want him to be at the club for a substantial amount of time and to build something that we have seen his guru, if I can call him, his father in football, Sir Alex Ferguson, built over the years. So is it the support for Ole Gunnar, a player like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, a manager like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who's been a player at the club, is it a bit sentimental? Does it fall under that, or is it that he actually is a very good manager tactically and with man management? What do you feel?
I think he gets it, you know, like he gets the club, he gets how enormous the club is. You know, might not be the most technical, but he's got the right people in his backroom staff, you know. But Mike Phelan, we caught up with in Perth. He's a brilliant technical manager, you know, like, and you asked Fergie in that if it wasn't for Rennie Millerstein and Mike Phelan and the likes, they wouldn't have been in the same team. So, you know, I think Ollie's the right man leading forward, you know, like the fans love him. He gets what it is to play for United. He knows what the shirt means. And I really think he's pushed that on the players to, you know, you are playing for the biggest club in the world. You know, going back with Mourinho, I wasn't a big fan of him because I thought he was so negative. Even in the pre-season in America, he was whinging and complaining. And I think that just gets the whole squad down, you know, like as where Ollie comes in, builds the team up, you know, they can make errors, but, you know, they know that they've got his support. And Ollie knows that the fans have his support, you know, like, you know, you can just hear the crowd every time, you know, with Ollie. So, and he appreciates it. He's always clapping, you know, thanking the crowd. And I just think he gets what United is where some other managers don't. And it's a bit of a trend at the moment because if you look at other clubs around the world, they're going back to, you know, ex-players. You know, Barcelona's going to have Xavi in a year's time after Koeman. So, I think it's the right way forward. And I just think every United fan just go back Ollie and believe in what he's doing. And as long as he gets the right assistance from the owners and stuff like that, and give him the team that he wants, I think we can go a long way.
So, but you agree, right, that having been a player who has scored a 93rd minute winner in a Champions League final does help?
Well, was that the best time of your life?
Oh, come on, it does help.
Of course, but if it wasn't Ollie, who would be there? What's an available manager throughout world football that you would have at Manchester United right now?
That's a very valid question. So,
in other words, no one. So, I think it's great. Look at Gerrard will be at Liverpool in the next few years. You got Lampard at Chelsea. Arsenal, Arteta. It's moving that way because it's not about their technical ability. It's who they have around them, and they get what they're doing, and they get the club that they're managing.
But it does depend a lot on us as well. I mean, as supporters, because as you said, I don't think there should be something called Ole in and Ole out. As supporters, you're supposed to back your manager, right? And
that's just a social media thing, isn't it? Imagine Fergie in his first few years as manager. Imagine if Facebook and Twitter and all that.
That's the best example.
That's like even with the Harry Maguire situation at the moment. All you read is the internet and all this sort of stuff where no one knows what the truth is. So media and social media especially have a lot to answer for, and there's people out there that think they support United, but they're just trolls and they probably don't even know what they're talking about, to be honest.
Absolutely. So Adam, I think you're itching to talk right now.
He's on mute.
And we can't hear you.
That's a good thing though, because he can talk forever. I'll message him and let him know.
We'll wait for him to figure it out.
He's upset because I got to talk.
Yeah, no, sorry. I don't know what's going on. Big Scott. Here we go. And back in, we saw it. Can you hear
What's
me?
your image
Yes.
though, Adam?
I don't know. Looks like me suit at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like
What is going?
Oh,
Here we go.
there we go. There he is.
Can you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
I could have doing more. 6 years Fergie went without a trophy, and I was around then. I was around. I'm 45, 46 years old. So as much as we didn't see a lot in the late 80s, we only had highlights here in Australia, but we still read a lot. And he went 6 years. If he was under the same pressure at the start, and I'm sure he was under a lot of pressure, but you can guarantee a lot of you'd say 90% of the fans inside that stadium will back the manager. 100%. It's crazy to think. I'm not on I'm on Twitter, but I'm not on Twitter that much. But I know a few of our guys, part of our supporters club, some people rip on Twitter. Facebook not too bad. Instagram, you get away with it, which we're on. But you got to back Ollie. Ollie's whether you think he's tactically right or not, he's good for the club. Do you want another? Everyone wanted Pooch, is that right? Yeah. What's he done? What's he done? Ollie's got to learn. Okay. He's probably hasn't had the best start to his managerial role where he was before United, but you've got to say he's taken us to third position. Regardless, we got to third. Mourinho, okay, he was second, and he got an FA Cup trophy. But Solskjaer's relying on 11 players. He's relying on 11 players, and he's trying to. I don't like saying clean out the dead wood because far out, man. You've got to be a quality player to be playing for Manchester United, But he's got like I said before, you need at least 2 players per per position, and it's going to take us maybe a couple of transfer windows to get out of it. You know, he's up against the people that are buying as well. You know, so you know it's. But Fergie was the same. He not always spend. This is the myth that everyone keeps saying, that Manchester United buy all the time, and that's not right. Fergie had some bad buys, but he also bought the right ones. And I'm sure Fergie's in Ollie's corner, so you know, you just got to stay positive. It's hard to go against him, and I'm sure in the dressing room, you know, he's not as easy as they say. You know, the babyface assassin. You know, he probably, if they're not doing things right, I'm sure he'll give it to them in the dressing room 100%. You know.
Yeah, so picking on that point, picking on that point with what Adam said, we all heard him saying fuck off to Lingard, right? Directly on camera. Right before Bruno came on, so he was shouting to Lingard that fuck off, or I'll be if you lose the ball one more time, I'm going to fuck you off. So I mean, we need that. And I actually don't agree with the comparison that is made between Fergie and Ole, because Fergie won a European Championship and 2 titles with Aberdeen before he came on to United, and mind you, those are the only 2 titles Aberdeen has ever won in their entire history. Apart from, I mean, the old firm rules, the Scottish League. So he had something under his belt. Ole, you might say that Ole has a Norwegian league under his belt. So yeah, let's not get into that comparison now. But again, if you are backing the club, you have to back the manager. You have to back him that, okay, I know where you are going to, I know how you are going to do it, but just do it right. And we have seen a couple of players turning around this season. We have been talking a lot about Bruno, Martial and Rashford. We have been forgetting that Fred has turned around this season. We have been seeing how abysmal a player Fred was when Mourinho was there. He couldn't even pass us. He couldn't even string 2 passes at the same time. Fred has been amazing this season till the lockdown occurred and till Bruno actually, I should say, stole his spotlight. So even McTominay, even we played well when McTominay played. We missed McTominay for 2 months during the entire jam-packed December and January. When McTom came up, he played well. So again, these are the players who has turned the season, I think. And also about Bruno's Bruno's contribution to the team. If you remember the goal in our derby, the flick that he did to Martial and Martial scored. So those are the few tricks and those are the few innovative passes that we required in the final third to move on and score. So that was missing. We were just passing around the box and hoping that one of the players make a mistake and that's how we scored, and always we relied on counter attacks. So that was the issue. Bruno came on and we saw that okay, if you sit deep to counter we'll score, if you sit deep we'll score 5. So that's how the entire mentality changed. It's not about clicking players, it's about the change in mentality. The players started believing themselves. Rashford, if Rashford makes a run through the channel, he knows that the ball will come to him. He knows that he can feed on that ball. So that's how the entire mentality changed. The team started clicking all around accordingly.
So yes, of course, I completely agree with you guys when you say that the team has moved forward. The risk-taking ability of the team has improved as well. We have been a little shaky in defense, which brings me to the next discussion. Like, what do you guys think of David De Gea right now? We'll start with Adam.
David De Gea, yeah. Look, I had a lot to say about him probably a couple of weeks ago. Was it the semi-final? FA Cup semi-final, I had a little bit to say about him. I love David De Gea, you know. I've got a daughter that absolutely adores the guy, so because she's a goalkeeper. But I blame the manager in a way. If Ramiro's he's our cup keeper, so as much as, like we were saying before, we back the manager, and it's been a positive season, everything like that. He has made errors. Like, in my opinion, I think Ramiro deserved his chance to play in those cup semi-finals. De Gea, look, he was making mistakes before he signed his new contract. And everyone thought, yep, he signed his new contract. Here we go. He's come back out. He's had a good game. Then all of a sudden he slipped. Not as bad, but yeah, they were crucial times when he made those errors. But you've got to say he has to be our keeper. He has to be. You know, now there's links with Romero going somewhere else. I think is it Aston Villa? They're looking at. Sorry.
Leeds as well.
Leeds, is it? Yeah, too. Yeah, there's links for him to go there. So, you know, De Gea needs to be pushed as well. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a big one. That's a big one for me, whether I think he should be out or not. You know, I'm sort of look, he was our player of the year, and everyone goes on about the same stuff. Everyone goes on about all that stuff all the time. For me, that's in the past now, and he deserves credit for all that, and I fully back him for all that. But yeah, we need quality goalkeeping to keep us in games, but we also need finishing up the top end as well. So yeah, so I can't give a miss on that one.
Would you be happy if Romero leaves and we have Dean Henderson and De Gea fighting for the number one spot? So let's say that De Gea would start the season as the number one, and if he makes mistakes or something like that, then Dean Henderson would come in and then perform in such a way that keeps De Gea out of the team. Would that be ideal?
That's a two-player thing, isn't it? That's a two-player. Of course, yeah. De Gea's got to start the season 100%. Yeah, but then Ollie's got to have the balls to go up to him and say, "Sorry, David, you dropped." So, and that's part of Ollie's learning. He's going to have to just go. You know, he's been tough on those 4 or 5 players that are sitting on the bench all the time. So I can't see why you just turn around to De Gea and go, "No, sorry, mate, you're not good enough at the moment." And De Gea just has to take that in his stride. And he hasn't really had to deal with those kind of things over the last 5 years or 6 years. So, you know, he has to deal with that kind of stuff. He either steps up or steps out. So, you know, as much as that sounds harsh, but once again, 2 players per position, and that we should be striving for that minimal. So, you know, yeah, of course he needs to be competing for sure.
Got you. So, Dean, what are your thoughts?
You put De Gea up for sale, which club in the world wouldn't want him? You know, all the big dogs would come after him. You know, I think, yes, he makes errors, but, you know, Martial and all them made a lot of errors over the years, and do we want to get rid of them? You know, he's 29, I think, De Gea. Goalkeepers, you know, usually in their prime, 30, 31, you know, like, I just think, I agree, like, Romero can go for sure. You know, Romero's been a great servant for us. He's, you know, doesn't whinge, doesn't complain. He's always been there. You know, Dean Henderson, you know, put pressure on De Gea. You know, like, if Dean Henderson wants a challenge, we'll come and challenge De Gea for it. But I think at the moment, like, there's no way I'd sell De Gea. You know, he's still, you know, a top goalkeeper. You know, name a few that are better. You know, there's a Chelsea goalkeeper that was a world record feat, I'm pretty sure. And, you know, where's he gone? So I just think, like, you know, a lot of people, you know, everyone makes an error. Just so the goalkeeper makes an error and the world's going to end. So I just think, you know, maybe a better centre half next to Maguire, you know, might take a bit more pressure off De Gea. Got to remember he saved our ass, you know, what, last 7 years. So I'm going to give him another season. You know, like, I think he's a top player, and I'd say if you put him up for sale, all the top clubs in the world would want him.
I wish all the United fans all over the world are as positive as our podcast today. So, what do you feel?
Social media is bad.
Um,
It has its
I don't.
pros and cons. I agree. Yeah, go ahead, please.
I don't believe that we should give Jay Henderson the first. I mean, like everyone's crying all over the social media, especially on Twitter and on Facebook, that Henderson should come up and snatch the first position, first place. I mean, first starting lineup position from Dagia. I don't believe that to happen because Henderson makes two mistakes, everyone will tell him to pop up. So that doesn't happen all overnight. I mean, you are playing for a club like Sheffield for 2 seasons, and suddenly you can't come up and start for a club like United. That's a huge jump. Coming to Dagia, he has saved us assets for 7 8 seasons, and we have him as a I mean player of the season for 6 years, I think. So that says a lot about his performance. But ever since the 2018 World Cup, his performance has dipped. So again, I won't write him off straight away. I would say, okay, so I would like Ole to go up and say that, okay, mate, but you are the number one, but don't consider your position to be taken for granted. You have there will be there. I have the I can drop you and I will drop you if you are making the same mistakes over and over again. We I mean, there are some mistakes which have been which can't be seen actually. Like I mean, our eyes bleed. Like the goal against Everton, which was scored from a goal kick. The ball deflected off from a goal kick, and the ball rolled into the net, and we were one down out of nothing. So uh, those mistakes blow off minds, and so like I would give DK another season, maybe half a season, and say that, okay, so you prove yourself, and you don't have anything to prove, but again you have to rectify your mistakes and stand up again and reclaim your spot. Else there are competitions and there will be players stepping up for that. There are players waiting in the wing for that.
I think, as Adam said, that we should really have two players for each position, fighting for that place that improves both the players itself as well as improves the team in general. Um, so, regarding backing our manager, we'll start with Dean. We'll address the elephant in the room, the Jadon Sancho deal. What are your thoughts? Is he that important? Is it
No.
that important for the
No.
team right now?
Would you spend 120 million on him?
Uh, let's not go into the financials of it as such. I'm saying the way there's a outcry for a player like Jadon Sancho to join our team, it feels. I mean, on social media, I have a feeling that he's the Messiah. If he comes, we have Jesus in our team. Nobody can beat us. It's like that. So, is he that important for a transfer window?
No, I don't think it's that important. But obviously, he's a world-class player. I'll give him that. You know, I've watched him play for Dortmund. You know, he steps up against Bayern Munich. You know, maybe. You know, I put it this way to you: if Bayern Munich went to Dortmund and said, "I want Jordan Sancho," do you think the fee would be anywhere near 120 million?
It never seems to be.
They
They
sell
gave
all their
Lewandowski for
players to
free.
Bayern, like, you know,
I-
especially with Manchester United.
I think
Give
I
Lewandowski for
personally.
free, so.
I personally think Bayern know some dirty secrets of Dortmund. I'm sure they do, and this is just blackmail. I mean, the price for which they buy players like Mario Götze and waiting for 1 year for Lewandowski to not sign a deal so that they can
Matt
sign him for
Hummels,
free.
you know, the list. But getting back to Jordan Sancho, like, you know, you read on all the papers, he's agreed personal terms and all this sort of stuff. So why hasn't he handed in a transfer request? Why hasn't he made it public? I want to join United. Why isn't he pushing it? I think he's still got 2 years there, so you know, I don't see anything happening this transfer window, if at all. You know, and then we get this sort of talk, oh, Memphis Depay might go to Dortmund, and then we've got to agree to it, and we get a fee and all this sort of stuff. You know, like Sancho in our team, yes, you know, who wouldn't want him? But I just think the figures are ridiculous, and if there was any other club in the world, they wouldn't be demanding that transfer fee.
Of course. So what do you feel about the transfer window in general? I mean, we do need players. They might come from outside, or we might have somebody who can step up from a reserves team or under 18 team. You never know. So is the way people are reacting that no player will come and we'll again have to fight for the fourth spot, and again we'll have to go through the trauma of last season. Is that true? I mean, according to you?
Well, to be honest, if the Glaziers are willing to spend 50 million on Tom Brady, I think they should be willing to spend the money at Manchester United. I'm guessing that money probably came from Manchester United. Because the Buccaneers are shit. So yeah. Anyway, but back to football, real football. We have.
Yeah, apparently that's football.
Unleash, dude. Unleash. Take everything out, mate. This is the place. Unleash, buddy.
Lindelof to me good enough to be a centre half for Manchester United. Eric Bailly is injured every second week. Phil Jones is Smalling at AS Roma this year had his best season anyone's seen, and it's sell. Like, I think we need to sell a lot of players before we buy new players, because there's so many players in our squad that you don't even see all year. Rojo goes and plays in Argentina. Did you even see him play? Or was he just having a holiday? Andreas Pereira, he's not the answer. Lingard, he gives it, his all, and he's English, so give him a bit, but he can go as well for all I care. It's one of those things. I think our squad needs experience. I don't think we need to be bringing in 21 to 22-year-olds. There's a defensive midfielder, Milenko Savic. I think he'd be a perfect replacement for Matic, because Matic can't play every match, like, at his age now. We need a strong centre midfielder, centre half. We need a right back, because as good as Wan-Bissaka is defending, which is the best in the league, you look at Alexander-Arnold and his attacking. That's modern football now. You have to be able to cross the ball in those positions. Luke Shaw's crossing isn't the best, but he makes those runs and he gets the ball in. So there's a lot of stuff to work on. Do we rely on Greenwood to play every match next year? Is he still too young? You got Dan James there that hit the ground running and just looked like he ran too much, and he just disappeared. He wasn't even a part of the team. There's positives in that there. I've noticed a lot of our youth players have gone on loans and stuff already. We've got Tenja Menji, in the reserve team and stuff like that. I just think, he'll get it right, as long as he's got the backing of the board, Ed Woodward, our favourite CEO, and the rest, the Glazier family have to back him, They want this club to keep succeeding and bringing in the money for them. They have to spend money. So, look how City's already brought, I think, 3 players already. Chelsea brought players months ago, and they're strongly linked with more players. Liverpool probably don't even need to buy players, their squad's pretty settled at the moment. Let's look at Club Barcelona, an absolute mess, So, clubs go through these periods, and I just think as long as Ollie has the backing, he'll bring the right players in. Players from 24 to 26, I think we should be looking